strangely beautiful, as endangered as the giant panda, elusive until now. This is the first time these rare snub-nosed monkeys have been so thoroughly documented. We begin in spring in a remote valley of the Chinese Himalayas, and one family has two new babies. One has an ideal childhood and is nurtured. The other struggles after his mother abandons him. For 2 years, the crew follows the brothers.
I've been here for a couple of hours now, just waiting for the monkeys.
Enduring impossible terrain and extreme weather.
Now we're up at the top of the mountain, 4,200 meters up.
To find out how the families push apart and then pull together in one of the highest forests in the world, in the mystery monkeys of Shangri-La. Hidden in the Himalayas in China are the Snow Mountains. Behind peaks of up to 22,000 feet are inaccessible canyons, miles deep. For centuries here, there have been stories of lost cities and woodland elves. The northeast corner of Yunnan province is cut off from the world by its formidable geography. Here, the eastern end of the Himalayas is sliced through by huge rivers. The Nujiang, the Mekong, and the Yangtze form 1,000 square miles of isolated mountains and forests. Chinese scientists arrived by mule train in 1960, looking for an animal known only from skins and thought perhaps extinct. They returned with news of a large mountain monkey, a living yeti. Xi Zhenong, a Chinese photographer, became obsessed. Starting in the 1980s, he dedicated himself to finding the monkeys. He became the first to film them in the wild. There are only a few thousand Yunnan snub-nosed monkeys. They are gentle, with odd-looking noses and prominent forelocks. The young have ears like Yoda. The adults, with pink lips and almond eyes, are hauntingly beautiful. Though sometimes they do seem like old movie stars with too much plastic surgery. They live at a higher elevation than any other monkey. It's 30 years later, and Xi Zhenong has hired a new team. The expedition has 2 young cameramen, 6 porters, 3 rangers, and a scientist. They cross mountain passes at 14,000 feet. The oxygen level is almost half. Cameraman Jackie Poon finds it tough.
Now we're up at the top of the mountain, 4,200 meters up. And it's snowy, plus hailing. Try to get a breath and see the screen is not easy.
Behind the passes are valleys. As the team descends, the temperature rises. They find an enchanted garden behind mile-high walls. Jackie Poon can hardly believe it.
It's like you're going into a different world. You start to hear birds and see flowers. It's magical. All of a sudden, in the trees are the monkeys. It's a huge thrill to see them.
Jackie Poon and Wu Yuanqi are amazed. The monkeys seem unafraid of them.
These monkeys are unique because they're not too bothered by people. But they're still wild animals, so you can't tell them what to do, you can't control them. So you feel so very, very privileged. Very privileged.
Shi Zhenong's ambition is to make a film following individual monkeys for 2 years. Park rangers and scientists will help track them with the team. It has never been attempted before, for some very good reasons. Covering impossible terrain are the last remaining troops of Yunnan's snub-nosed monkeys in the world. They move miles between precipitous valleys to find food. One smaller troop is easier to follow. There are 8 families in this troop, each with a male and several females and their young. By March, after months of waiting, the team sees one of the 8 families with a newborn. Scientists have only once witnessed a birth. The other mothers helped like midwives. The new baby is not alone. The family has 2 arrivals, 2 half-brothers. The mothers have just 1 baby each every 2 or 3 years. It's too harsh here to support more. The other mothers and the father need to help. In a family of 6 adults, these 2 half-brothers should both be well looked after. But cameraman Jackie Poon notices one is neglected.
Each mother treats her babies very differently. One is great and one is really hopeless. She keeps leaving her baby behind. Maybe she's inexperienced. I don't know. It's like she can't really believe that she's a mother now. Luckily, the rest of the family helps her and looks after the baby as well.
The other mothers even provide milk. After a few weeks, his mother still isn't coping. While the other baby is protected and indulged, he's raised haphazardly by the whole family.
The baby is passed around so much, from one aunt to another, to the children. We call it the pass-the-parcel baby.
Neglected babies usually suffer permanent psychological damage compared to those loved and cared for. But scientific studies also show that a few of those that survive can become tougher and braver. When everyone is tired of him, he's dumped on Dad. It's unusual in monkeys for the father to be the helpful family type.
They seem to have a very special bond. He looks after him and grooms him most of the time, while his mother is out looking for food. After observing and filming, we really want to know what happens to these two half-brothers. It's hard enough finding a monkey troop at all, let alone following one family. But it is really worth it, because of the potential story for each individual that no one has ever seen before.
The monkeys' lives are part of the wider story of the mountains and the isolated people who live here. The whole area has hardly been filmed. Hidden from the outside world is an ancient city. It's called Shangri-La, named after a famous mythical paradise. Prayer flags and burnt offerings are made by Tibetan Buddhists. They believe that all mountain life is like a family, and that people and animals need each other, even become each other after death. In spring, monks from the nearby monastery lead the village yaks up toward the monkeys' forests. It takes several days, and the calves face many hazards. They are heading for Mountain Meadows. The monks will live at 13,000 feet for a few months in some of the highest human homes on Earth. It's May, and in the forest the neglected baby is still being passed around the family and is always hungry. While his half-brother is cosseted like a prince, he struggles to cope.